Do you think all coconut oil is healthy? 8 UK brands hide chemical residues, phthalates and refined bleached oils behind health marketing. Laboratory testing found hormone-disrupting chemicals in every single coconut oil tested. 2 brands do it properly. 8 are contaminating your food. Here's what they're hiding. Starting at number 8, Asda's own brand sits on shelves as a budget option. It's not organic, meaning pesticides and chemical fertilizers were used throughout cultivation. Asda dodges taxes while selling you the lowest quality oil they can get away with. Here's what they don't tell you on the label. The oil lacks fair trade certification, so coconut farmers in the Philippines and Indonesia likely received poverty wages. Non-organic coconut oil contains residues from synthetic pesticides and herbicides. They don't disappear during processing. They remain in the final product you're putting in your food. Think about that. Every time you cook with this, every time you spread it on toast, you're consuming agricultural chemicals day after day, building up in your system. Asda uses plastic packaging. Research confirms plastics leach harmful compounds into fatty substances, especially when exposed to heat during storage and transport. The longer oil sits in plastic, the more chemical migration occurs. And where does that oil sit? In warehouses, on delivery trucks, in heated shops, for weeks, months even. The contamination just keeps building. The oil is refined. Heavy processing at high temperatures destroys beneficial compounds. Chemical residues potentially remain. You're buying the lowest quality option available, produced without concern for farmers, environment, or your health. Asda knows this. They just don't care, because cheap sells. And most customers have no idea what they're actually buying. At number 7, KTC dominates UK supermarket shelves as a budget brand. Despite its popularity, this brand has serious quality issues. Buyers completely overlook. KTC coconut oil is refined, bleached and deodorized. This intensive processing involves high heat. It destroys beneficial compounds. Laboratory studies show the damage clearly. Tocopherol content in crude coconut oil, 12.39 milligrams per kilogram. After refinement, just 0.10. That's a 99% reduction. Almost everything valuable is gone. You're not buying coconut oil, you're buying coconut-flavored fat. Stripped bare, nutritionally bankrupt, the refining process creates undesired contaminants. They're called 3-MCPD esters and glycidyl esters. Research confirms refined coconut oil contains significantly higher levels of these potentially harmful compounds compared to virgin oils. KTC isn't organic, so pesticide residues remain a concern. It's not fair trade, meaning producers weren't paid fairly. The plastic packaging allows chemical migration into the oil over time. Some Morrisons stores stock KTC in the hair products aisle. That tells you how retailers view its quality. You're sacrificing nutritional value and purity for lower prices. When you're using oil daily for cooking, those compromises add up to significant chemical exposure over time. Think that's bad? This next supermarket starts with rotten coconuts. At number 6, Tesco's refined coconut oil represents everything wrong with heavy processing. Whilst their virgin organic option scores reasonably well, the refined version fails on every level. Refined coconut oil uses dried copra as its starting material. This copra often sits for weeks before processing, potentially becoming rancid. The oil extracted must then be heavily refined, bleached and deodorized just to make it palatable. Picture that. Rotten coconut flesh, sitting in tropical heat, flies buzzing around it. That's your starting point. Then they blast it with chemicals and heat to hide the decay. The refining process typically involves chemical solvents. Manufacturers claim these are removed. Trace residues can remain. High heat processing creates trans fatty acids. It destroys medium-chain triglycerides that make coconut oil beneficial. Tesco received Ethical Consumer's worst rating for likely tax avoidance strategies. They're profiting substantially. Actual farmers receive minimal compensation. The nutritional profile is dramatically inferior to virgin varieties. What you're left with is just empty fat. The benefits are gone, potentially contaminated with processing chemicals. This might save you money in the short term, but you're trading health for minimal savings. That money saved becomes pounds lost in healthcare costs later. But if you think that's bad, wait until you see what this next supermarket is hiding in their bottles. At number 5, Sainsbury's sells their standard coconut oil as a mid-range option. It's not organic, not fair trade, and comes in plastic packaging. Here's where it gets alarming. Independent. Laboratory testing by Mammovation found phthalates in 100% of coconut oils tested, every single one. These hormone-disrupting chemicals contaminate even premium brands. Sainsbury's plastic bottled oil is particularly vulnerable to phthalate contamination, 100%. Let me repeat that. 100% of oils tested contained hormone disruptors. Not some, not most, all of them. Phthalates are linked to serious health effects. Hormone disruption, reproductive issues, developmental problems in children. These chemicals leach from plastic packaging into fatty substances, especially during transport and storage in warm conditions. The oil lacks organic certification. Pesticide and herbicide residues could be present. It's not fair trade certified, so coconut farmers weren't paid fairly. Ethical Consumer notes that companies selling non-fair trade coconut products often exploit developing world producers. Sainsbury's also received poor ratings for tax avoidance strategies. You're buying from a company that profits from cheap coconut imports. They minimize tax contributions. They pay producers poverty wages. Using phthalate-contaminated oil on your skin or in your food represents a significant health risk. Most consumers don't even know it exists. And speaking of chemicals you didn't know about, this next budget brand hides even more. At number 4, Lidl's budget brand Coco Loco seems like tremendous value until you understand what you're actually buying. The brand is not organic. Synthetic pesticides and chemical fertilizers were used during cultivation. These agricultural chemicals persist through processing. They end up in the final product. Consuming pesticide residues daily contributes to toxic load in your body. Your body doesn't excrete these chemicals easily. They accumulate, build up in fatty tissue, stay there for years. Every cheap jar adds to that burden. Lidl received Ethical Consumer's worst rating for likely tax avoidance strategies. They're minimizing contributions whilst profiting from imported coconuts. The actual farmers received minimal compensation. Coco Loco lacks fair trade certification. In the Philippines and Indonesia, farmers often receive less than 10% of the retail price for their crops. They work in dangerous conditions, climbing tall trees, yet barely earn enough to survive. The oil comes in plastic packaging. Plastics leach phthalates and other harmful compounds into fatty substances. The longer oil sits in plastic bottles, the more contamination occurs, particularly in warm retail environments or during transport. For budget shoppers, Coco Loco seems like a sensible economy. In reality, you're consuming pesticide residues, potential plastic contamination, and supporting exploitative supply chains. Now here's where it gets really interesting. You'd expect premium supermarkets to do better, right? Wrong. At number 3, Waitrose Essential Range Coconut Oil positions itself as a premium brand. More expensive than budget brands, yet lacking the quality you'd expect from Waitrose. The Essential range isn't organic. For a supermarket marketing itself on quality, selling non-organic coconut oil seems contradictory. Pesticide residues, synthetic fertilizers, agricultural chemicals contaminate the final product. Waitrose customers expect better. They're paying for better, but they're not getting it. The Essential range is Waitrose in name only. Ethical Consumer gave Waitrose their worst rating for likely tax avoidance strategies. Despite premium pricing and substantial profits, they're minimizing tax contributions, whilst importing cheap coconuts from developing nations. The oil isn't fair trade certified. Waitrose customers typically care about ethical sourcing, yet the company sells coconut oil from supply chains that exploit farmers. The disconnect between brand image and actual practices is stark. Waitrose uses plastic packaging for this product line. At their price point, glass bottles should be standard. The plastic allows chemical migration into the oil, contaminating a product customers paid premium prices for. Waitrose customers are typically willing to pay extra for quality and ethics. The company could easily source organic, fair trade coconut oil in glass packaging. They choose not to. The Essential range prioritizes profit margins over customer values. You're paying premium supermarket prices for budget supermarket quality. But we're just getting to the really shocking ones. Number 2 will make you question everything. Number 2, Carrington Farms organic coconut oil. At number 2, Carrington Farms markets itself as organic and health-conscious. They claim BPA-free packaging. They advertise cold-pressed processing. Sounds good on paper, until you dig deeper. Here's the critical problem. Carrington Farms uses plastic tubs, not glass. Plastic. They claim BPA-free. That doesn't solve the phthalate contamination issue. Independent laboratory testing by Mamovation tested coconut oils for hormone-disrupting chemicals. The results? 100% of coconut oils in plastic packaging contained phthalates. Every single one. BPA-free means nothing when other plastic chemicals are leaching into your food. Think about that for a moment. You're paying premium prices for organic coconut oil, then storing it in a container that's actively contaminating it with hormone-disrupting chemicals. The plastic packaging undermines the entire point of buying organic. Phthalates migrate from plastic into fatty substances, like coconut oil, especially during transport and storage in warm conditions. Your coconut oil sits in warehouses, on delivery trucks, in heated shops. The plastic keeps contaminating the oil inside. Carrington Farms sources coconuts from multiple countries: Philippines, Vietnam, Sri Lanka, Indonesia. This scattered supply chain makes quality control difficult. Different farms, different standards, different processing facilities, inconsistency built into the system. The brand lacks transparency about which specific farms supply their coconuts. Where exactly in the Philippines? Which cooperatives in Indonesia? They don't tell you. Generic sourcing claims without specifics suggest they're hiding supply chain problems. Here's what really matters. At their price point, glass packaging should be standard. Premium organic brands use glass. Carrington Farms uses plastic tubs because it's cheaper. They're cutting corners on packaging whilst charging premium prices for organic certification. And now the number one brand to avoid. This one shocked even me. At number 1, Vita Coco positions itself as health-focused with massive marketing presence. Their coconut oil, however, represents overpriced mediocrity. Vita Coco coconut oil is a premium brand, roughly double the price of budget alternatives. Yet independent testing by Good Housekeeping gave it just 72 out of 100. Aldi's budget options scored 76 out of 100, whilst costing less than half the price. Let that sink in. A budget brand outperformed them. You're paying more, thinking you're being healthy and getting played. The brand charges premium prices based on marketing and brand recognition. Not superior quality, you're paying for advertising, not purity. When budget brands outperform you in blind testing, that premium price becomes impossible to justify. Vita Coco uses plastic packaging. At their price point, glass bottles should be standard. The plastic allows phthalate contamination. Yet they're charging customers premium money for inferior packaging that actually degrades the product inside. Laboratory testing by Mamovation found phthalates in coconut oils across all price points, including premium brands. Vita Coco's plastic packaging makes this contamination particularly likely. Yet customers paying premium prices expect premium purity. The brand isn't transparent about fair trade status or organic certification for all their products. Some Vita Coco items carry organic labels, others don't. This inconsistency suggests they're not genuinely committed to organic practices, just using it as a marketing angle when convenient. Budget brands are honestly priced for what they deliver. Vita Coco charges premium money whilst delivering middling quality. You're paying for brand marketing and celebrity endorsements rather than actual product superiority. If you're going to compromise on quality by buying non-organic, non-fair trade coconut oil in plastic bottles, at least pay budget prices for it. Vita Coco asks you to pay double whilst delivering the same compromised quality as Tesco's budget line. The two brands worth buying. After exposing those 8 chemical offenders, here's hope for coconut oil users who want clean cooking. These two brands prove coconut oil can be done right. Organic ingredients, ethical sourcing, zero compromises. At number 2, Lucy Bee delivers genuine quality as a premium brand. That's expensive compared to supermarket brands, but you're getting what you pay for. The oil is certified organic. No synthetic pesticides or chemical fertilizers were used during cultivation. It's fair trade certified. Coconut farmers receive fair compensation rather than poverty wages. The oil is cold-pressed and completely unrefined, preserving all the beneficial compounds that make coconut oil valuable. Lucy B uses glass packaging, eliminating plastic contamination concerns. Lucy B scored 78 out of 100, one of the highest scores ever recorded, whilst budget brands barely scrape past the low 70s. This isn't just marketing. Independent laboratories verified this. Third-party testing. No brand bias. Just pure science. And Lucy B came out on top. Lucy B actually tells you where your food comes from. No vague labels, no marketing fog. They work directly with farming communities in the Philippines, supporting sustainable agroforestry practices. You can trace your jar back to the farm, back to the families who grew those coconuts. That's real transparency, not corporate greenwashing. Yes, it costs more, but you're paying for genuine purity, ethical production, superior nutritional value. You're paying for food that won't poison you, slowly over decades. At number 1, Biona stands as a premium brand with complete commitment to organic and fair trade. Like Lucy B, it's certified organic and fair trade. The oil is cold-pressed and unrefined, preserving beneficial compounds destroyed during conventional refining. Biona uses glass packaging, preventing plastic contamination. Independent testing gave it 78 out of 100, tying with Lucy B as amongst the best available. Biona doesn't just claim organic, they live it. Farmers paid, oil untouched, no shortcuts. Ethical consumer called Biona a best buy. Translation: one of the few brands that isn't lying to you. The company scores well across environmental, social, and transparency metrics. Here's the thing about Biona. They've been doing this since 1979. Before organic was trendy, before fair trade was profitable, they were paying farmers fairly when nobody else cared. That's nearly half a century of consistent ethical sourcing. Not a marketing campaign, a business model built on doing the right thing. Biona is more widely available than Lucy B, stocked at Abel & Cole, Ethical Superstore, and various health food shops. You can order online, get it delivered, no excuses. The company doesn't just meet organic standards, they exceed them. Regular testing, full traceability, complete supply chain transparency. You want to know where your coconut came from? They'll tell you, right down to the specific farm cooperative. Both Lucy B and Biona cost more than budget brands. But consider what you're actually paying for. Organic cultivation without pesticides, fair wages for farmers, cold pressing that preserves nutrients, glass packaging that prevents contamination, complete transparency about sourcing and production. When you compare that to buying refined oil contaminated with pesticide residues and phthalates from plastic bottles, produced by exploited farmers so supermarkets can maximize profits, that extra cost seems like sensible insurance for your health. 8 brands poisoning you for profit. 2 that actually care. Next time you shop, choose wisely. Comment which brand shocked you most and subscribe.